a short stream finishing up the Crystal Elite Four. The only major change since the last stream is that we have found the Earthquake TM in Victory Road, so the Miltank should be a little bit stronger now. First up is Will, who uses Psychic types. And that means we are going to be leading with Miltank for Shadow Ball. If things go well, we will simply click on the move 5 times and then win. But I am not expecting it to be that simple. And if they have a Giraffe Rig, it would be immune and we'll be forced to click something else anyway. Xatu is up first, and we just barely miss on the one-hit KO. And Confuse Ray is relatively threatening, so plan immediately being abandoned. We're gonna switch in the Typhlosion. It should be my fastest switch in, so as long as I don't get one shot, I can go in and Flame Wheel, grabbing ourselves the first KO. I guess notably, we actually don't have access to Flamethrower yet, which might be a problem later on. Next up is a Slowbro, and Slowbro is definitely bulkier than the Xatu, so if we aren't able to one-shot it, Slowbro is definitely a 2 or even a 3-hit KO as well. Fortunately, we do land a critical, and a Curse is not going to be good enough, as we no longer have a status condition on the Miltank. Welcome, Red Fire. I'm gonna be completely honest. I have not done any of the Dennis event yet. I actually haven't even logged into Duel Links for half of the days it has been running. I definitely am missing out on a ton of gems and the event cards. But I've been relatively busy and enjoying my time, so I'm not considering it a very big loss. The Duel Links content will return eventually. But I've been enjoying the Pokemon stuff so far, and everything I've been doing off stream as well. So, Exeggutor takes 3 hits, but for some reason or another, Will is not healing. I would have expected them to have access to full restores at this point, but we have brought their Pokemon into the red several times. Okay, but the Reflect does mean the Xatu is incredibly bulky, and Miltank is going to need to stall things out by using Milk Drink. Fortunately for us, Light Clay should not be in this generation, so stalling it out isn't going to be too bad. Shadow Ball on the weakened Xatu gets a crit, and our first member of the Elite Four is down. I did make sure to prepare ourselves by stocking up on revives and full restores. So let's go ahead, open the pack, and start healing. We also have a few Hyper Potions, so I suppose I should start with those. Our team is fully healed and ready for the next battle. Koga uses Poison types, and our best bet is probably going to be Slowbro with its Psychic moves. I am a little bit concerned about Ariados and Venomoth being Bug type. However, I don't think they should have any strong Bug moves. So let's go ahead and see if Slowbro is able to just power through with its high defense stat, or if it'll succumb to all of Koga's various status effects. They are starting off with Ariados. And I have completely forgotten, we do not have access to a Psychic TM. And are still stuck on Confusion. Meaning, even with super effective damage, Surf is Slowbro's best option. Unfortunately, the Double Drain, or the Double Team, allows Ariados to dodge. But fortunately, it is weak enough that they are going to need many Mega Drains if they want to take out the Slowbro. And our next Surf connects, no problem. Fortress is very weak to fire. So let's go ahead and bring in Typhlosion and see if our Flame Wheel is not able to one-shot it. Even with the lower base power compared to Flamethrower. Flame Wheel is more than enough on a 4 times weak Pokemon. And next up is the Pure Poison Muck. So our best option is going to be Miltank with Earthquake. Even though the opponent is a higher level, we are going to be able to 2-hit KO them, as long as we're able to get in a hit. Fortunately, we managed to dodge the Toxic, and Muck goes down. Number 4 is Venomoth, and that's going to be another Pokemon weak to Typhlosion. I went in planning to mostly use Slowbro here, but almost all of our team members are getting a chance to shine. This is definitely a KO we could have picked up with Flamethrower, but I don't actually even know what level the Typhlosion learns it at. So we'll grab it on the second hit. Venomoth's Burn definitely did not make a difference there. Crota finishes off with a Crobat. And we actually do have a Thunder Punch for it. So no need to switch out the Typhlosion. L44 is a significant level gap. And Double Team is a little bit threatening. However, as long as we're able to get it low enough with the Thunder Punch, we're able to switch over to Swift. And guarantee a hit. Though it looks like we are slowly losing the Typhlosion here. And with a full restore, I am now a little bit more concerned. I figured since Will wasn't using them, that they might not use it on, Koga either. But we are not out of the running yet. Sudowoodo has rock moves and resist swing attack, so it shouldn't be taking very much damage at all. Rockslide connects and actually takes out the Crobat in one hit. So Elite Four member number 2 is down. I assume Bruno is going to be next. Despite the lava floor, it is the Fighting Master Bruno. Let's go ahead and revive our Typhlosion and drop a couple more Hyper Potions on the squad. I think once again, Slowbro should be a pretty reasonable option here. Even if we don't have access to Psychic, we are going to be able to resist most of their attacks and swing in pretty hard. And thank you, Sam, for the follow. I had a hard time reading the name. Maybe I can make the alerts bigger. And then I do want to move this back. Okay. So, leading with Hitmontop. We could go for Confusion, but as I mentioned, Surf should be a little bit stronger. Either way, it's not going to do much of anything up against a Dig. So we wait out another turn, and it'll do it a second time. But Slowbro is able to tank this, no problem. And him on top is definitely going to be falling. And with a critical hit, it's even better. Bruno brings in the Hitmonchan next. And I am thinking they have a pretty good chance of knowing Thunder Punch. So I want to save the Slowbro for after the Hitmonchan, so it'll be able to deal with the rest of the things more easily. Typhlosion is going to be our next best bet, as it resists both Fire Punch and Ice Punch. And then Mach Punch is not all that strong. I would say the Burn is useful here, but given it is Generation 2, our opponent is going to be focusing on the special stat. Fortunately, we are able to tank it, and Hitmonchan goes down, even if we are paralyzed. Onix is 4 times weak to Slowbro, so a single Surf ought to finish this with relative ease. And Onix somehow is actually slower than our Slowbro, despite a base 70 speed. My Slowbro does have a Quick Claw, so I have to assume it activated. It isn't until later generations when we actually know when the items announce their own use. Alright, that was pretty strong. And another Cross Chop is probably going to take us out, but it does not crit, allowing Slowbro to get in with even more damage. Still not quite enough though. And with a max potion on the Machamp, I think Slowbro is probably going down. But as long as we're able to outspeed it with our other Pokemon, it shouldn't be too big of a threat. Obviously, Miltank is weak to the Cross Chop, but I'm thinking Return might be strong enough to really whittle it down, even if we then subsequently get one shot. But we actually managed to survive, and a second Return finishes off Machamp, leaving them with just one Pokemon remaining. Our best answers are down. But let's see what Sudowoodo is able to do. I'm thinking they are probably going to be faster and deal significant damage, so I went for a Flail, but they only went for Swagger, so we aren't going to be dealing very much damage at all here. I will go for it again though, as Double Kick will inflict pretty reasonable damage, so as long as we're able to dodge the confusion. But we whiff, so Sudowoodo is definitely going down, and is slower. So we're going to take the time to revive Slowbro. Slowbro comes in and actually gets another Quick Claw proc. Surf is not enough, but I think our defense is high enough that we should be okay. High Jump Kick, only around 20 damage, but we whiff on Confusion again. We have plenty of full restores, so we'll just pop one now, cure the Confusion, and finish it off with a Confusion of our own. And with this, Bruno is down. So, finally, is Dark-type Master Karen. Thank you, Sam. I will say, I think that is actually the first time in the playthrough that I felt inclined to actually need to use items here. So I do appreciate that the game is giving us more of a challenge, as we head into the Elite Four. Our levels are around on par, but are technically a little bit below. But I definitely do not consider that a bad thing. I think part of the challenge in the game is in overcoming it, which our team should be able to do just fine. We have Miltank leading up for the next one. The only Pokemon on this team I can name is the Umbreon. I think they might have a Vileplume somewhere, but I could be confusing them with Agatha. Oh, and thank you for the follow, VTuber. Alright, Miltank's return is not quite half. But I think with Stab, it is definitely going to be our best overall option. As long as they aren't using a Full Restore on it, it goes down to the third hit. Next up is Vileplume, as expected. Or I should say, as the only other member I'm able to predict. I would assume there has to be a Murkrow. Just because it's one of the few other dark types that exist. Flame Wheel, critting and destroying the Vileplume in a single hit. Karen might somehow end up being even easier than the previous member, Bruno. Gengar is third, and we're going to Shadow Ball it with our Miltank. Remember, in Generation 2, Ghost is a physical type, so Gengar is really not a threat here. And our Miltank is able to use its much better attacking stat. Murkrow is flying type, and that means we are going to be using Typhlosion. Thunder Punch, hopefully enough. Just barely missing it. But we will see if even if they full restore, we deal more than enough damage. So Murkrow goes down. And they are finishing off with Houndoom. Slowbro is technically weak to Houndoom's dark typing. But I think as long as we're able to survive a single hit, our own usage of Surf should be enough. Crunch brings us all the way down to 21. And then they actually survive, but they are going to be stuck in the loop of using Max Potion. Slowbro fires off a Surf and brings it low once again. All we need is a Quick Claw activation and we win the battle. And it is exactly what we find. Slowbro levels up and Karen is down. Which means all 4 members of the Elite Four are defeated. However, as is usually the case, the Elite Four secretly is in possession of 5 members, which means there is still a battle with Lance. We're gonna go ahead, heal up our team, and then figure out what we want to use. Obviously, Lance's biggest weakness is going to be 2 ice types, but I don't believe we have an Ice Beam TM. Icy Wind is not going to cut it at all. So, I could lead with Miltank as our safest option. And if we end up in a bad situation, we will save and reload. But here it is. The final battle. Virus has asked, with Speed Duel officially being closed, I'm going to print Rush Duels in English. It is something that's definitely a little bit hard for us to tell. Obviously, they have gone through the lengths of dubbing 7s, and will presumably be doing the same for Go Rush in the future. With that in mind, there are probably a ton of kids in school right now that are watching Yu-Gi-Oh! But aren't able to play with the cards. So there is a large market for it. On the other hand, I do not think Rush is going to get a very big contingent of current modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Players to actually give it a shot. No matter how affordable they make the product, or how good Rush Duels themselves are, players are going to think it is different and therefore not try it. So I can only see if they are concerned about it. Knowing Konami, they are allergic to trying ideas, especially when something like Cross Duel was a huge departure from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Norm and immediately bombed. I think Cross Duel not doing well had a lot to do with why Rush Duels did not get their own app and are instead just a part of Duelings. Another Dragonite is coming in. But if Sudowoodo is damaged, I'm gonna need to just bring in our Miltank. Dragonite has a massive base stat total and an 8-level lead on our party, and an incredibly powerful move in Outrage. Our best bet is to sack the Hoot Hoot here, and that'll give us a chance to drop a full restore on our Sudowoodo, as Rock Slide is our only super effective hit here. Oh wait, no, our Slowbro has Ice Punch, and I taught it that explicitly for this battle. I just completely forgot because it was not Ice Beam. So let us bring in our actual dedicated answer, and Ice Punch makes quick work of them. I feel pretty silly forgetting about one of the very few pieces of preparation that we made. The issue is one of these Dragonites, I believe, has Thunder. But this Dragonite simply used Thunder Wave instead. Hyper Beam, probably not a KO, but we do end up fully paralyzed. Fortunately, we go right through it. And a Quick Claw activation on the recharge turn nets us another Dragonite down. Virus, I do agree. I think the Rush Duel cards definitely do look a fair amount better than the standard Yu-Gi-Oh! Card template. Yu-Gi-Oh's original template is among the absolute worst in the series. Welcome, Aura. You're joining us up against Champion Lance, where we are hoping to finish out our run for the night. Flamethrower on Sudowoodo does target its lower defense, but it is a resisted move, whereas our Rock Slide is a 4 times weakness. If I remember correctly, the final Pokemon should be Aerodactyl, and it looks like it is. Here is the only Pokemon standing between us and a completed game. Rock Slide from Aerodactyl goes first, but ours is stronger and hits weakness. One more Rock Slide, and we've got this. However, Sudowoodo is going to flinch, but their Hyper Beam misses. We hit them with a resisted Flail, but with an incredibly high base power. Sudowoodo has taken it out. Lance is defeated. We have become the Johto champion. Now, it is true that the game is not technically over. However, we are going to be calling it a day after the credits roll. A large part of the reason I started playing through Crystal was so that I can make a video on its level curve, which is a very common complaint we have seen about the games in more recent times. But now that I have experienced it once again firsthand, and to be honest, probably for the 20th or 30th time, I have played these games quite a lot when I was a kid. But I wanted a modern refresher before we actually uploaded it so I could have it fresh in my mind. Our team finishing off Miltank as a beautiful physical attacker, Typhlosion, our starter, and offering fire electric coverage, Sudowoodo, a static encounter, and Slowbro, the representative of Azalea Town, Psyduck, and Hoothoot, offering a combination of field move value. Overall, I enjoyed my time with the game, and maybe we'll come back and do the Kanto area in the future. But I am also planning on starting work on a Heart Gold ROM hack, so I'm not sure how much time we're gonna be having to play Crystal. There are a few different Pokemon videos in the works, and as always, I don't want to get back to Duel Links at some point. It was just a combination of burnout from the World Championship qualifiers, the disappointment of a new box, and the many bugs over in ranked, leading to a bit of an extended hiatus. But we will be back with Duel Links, relatively soonish. Let's make sure everything is good. Save the game one more time. And we are going to call it there. Thank you everybody who tuned in. And sorry it was